All right, we're gonna try this again. Can you see me? Are we a little better now? All right, let's see if this video smooths out a little bit. What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for bearing with me and popping over to the new stream. Let's see, check my audio. Everything is good. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Frederick, for keeping everybody in the loop. Palma Kit, what's going on? Everything good? Okay, cool. You know, technology, man, that's the way it goes sometimes. Nothing, I said in our Discord, nothing like trial by fire. I think what it was is I added a new integration. It was going to be super cool. Actually, I might see if I can do this one thing, but I added some new integrations to the live stream that was going to do like some cool stuff when we get new members and super chats and all that kind of stuff. And I think that was causing some serious issues with my streaming software, which I did not notice until we actually went live. So I think that was the case. I am going to try something. Let me try just in case we get, let's see. Let me see if I can open my preferences here. This is going to be cool if this works. I don't think this was affecting it. So what did I name that shortcut? Let's see. Hold on. Standby. Let's see. Studio. Oh man, I need to clean up my, there you go. I think that's it. We'll see if that works. So I did set up a shortcut that'll run if we get any super chats. Frederick, I think you were too soon. Thank you, Frederick, for the super chat. I can still hit my button here. And we got the audio back, so that's good. But I did just re-enable something where it should flash my lights when we get a super chat, but I just enabled it, so that didn't work the last time. But I had some animations and all kinds of cool stuff that I set up today. Tested it a bunch. Of course, everything looked awesome and worked great, and I was really excited. But it apparently that integration is what messed up my live stream. So anyways, enough about that. Yeah, that was stressful. But I see a lot of you guys made it back over here. Sigmund Judge, what's going on, man? Good to see you. These things always happen when you don't want them to. Yeah, of course, you know. But you know, that's the fun. It makes it exciting. You know, if there was no risk, then there would be no reward. So I'm glad you guys made it over here to the. Raul says, "Did Caroline unplug the router?" Better not have. I got a UPS, so hopefully I'd be good for a little while, even if she did. What's going on, Thump Jimmy? And yeah, I appreciate you guys and your patience with me there. I'm gonna try to catch up in the chat here a little bit. Finally been able to watch. Oh, good. I'm glad you could make it, Tim, and thanks for making it over to the new stream here. Hopefully everything is nice and smooth now. I think that was definitely the issue. I had to go into my YouTube settings and just remove that integration that I was using. But yeah, let's get into it. Apple is having not an event. They're calling it an Apple experience. I don't know if you guys see this. I'm going to I had to close out all my windows here. Let me see. Pull up a new window so we can check out some of this stuff. I had to rearrange all my desktop and all that stuff. Oh, nice. Super chat there from Craig. Thank you so much for the super chat. Test for all I've learned over the years. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I don't know. I didn't see my lights flash. Did you guys see? Maybe it didn't. Maybe it's not working either. I did just reset that. I wonder if you have to do it before a stream. So I set a shortcut where supposedly when I get a super chat, a shortcut is going to trigger some of my smart lights to flash like red and blue and my ceiling lights. And I didn't notice that. So maybe that's not working yet. It was working perfectly earlier, of course. Maybe I'll do like I think what I'll do next time, because I would like to get some of that stuff working, is maybe I'll do a member test stream where we do just members only, so it's not quite as much pressure. as far as having so many people in the stream and stuff, and we could test out some of these. Oh, there we go. It's working. Hey, thank you for the super chat, Lloyd. I appreciate that. And that one, it's working. So my lights flashed, and that was all automatic. Thanks to the super chat. Cool, man. Hey, that's all right. Yeah, it works every time, 60% of the time. That's right. Okay, so Apple's experience. They're calling this an Apple experience, which is kind of interesting. Oh, my lights are flashing again. Dance for us. HomeKit Authority. Thank you, brother. Oh, man, George in the chat. Hold on, we'll come back to it. George just gifted 10 memberships, and we got a super chat from HomeKit Authority. Man, thank you guys so much. George gifted 10 memberships. So as a channel member, you get access to the member Discord server, as well as early access to new videos, and we do some behind the scenes stuff. Like I said, I think I'm going to do a member live stream here soon and test out some of these new features and see if we can get that working. I don't know, that one integration definitely scared me away after that little experience, but maybe we'll test it out and get some more fun stuff working here in the stream. Let's see. Yes, thank you very much, George. I appreciate that, as well as John over from HomeKit Authority. Thank you guys for being here and for the super chat and the gifted memberships, man. That's awesome. Appreciate you guys. All right, so Apple's March 4th event. What do you guys think of this? Have you looked into this at all? So they're calling this an Apple experience. People have got invited. I think my invite must have got lost in the mail. I didn't get one, but they're calling it an Apple experience. I think in New York it's going to be. Looks like we're gonna. The rumors are saying some iPhone 17e, new MacBook Pros. Might be a good time for me to upgrade. It's been quite a while, so I might actually consider upgrading my MacBook Pro, especially since I'm having these live stream issues today. That's good justification, I feel like, for the wife. So we'll see how well that goes. Also looking at maybe some new iPads, 8th generation iPad Air, probably 12th generation iPad as well, so the cheaper iPads. What do you guys think about this? Have you looked into it at all? I saw some articles, and I did have all this stuff pulled up, and I apologize. I might can pull up some of them still. But I saw some people saying that maybe there will be, the new Apple Home devices announced or whatever from this little March experience, but I really don't think that's going to happen. Like the new HomePod, new Apple TVs and stuff. I did see that too. George is hoping for new displays, taking a plunge if they come out with a new Pro XDR. Nice, that'll be pretty exciting, pretty cool. Yeah, I did see that might be a possibility. Let's see. Yesterday, oh yeah, I saw that, John. I'm pretty sure it looks like everything's smooth now. The stream issues, I think, was definitely the software and the integrations that I was running. But yeah, I saw that yesterday. YouTube was down, like, for me completely. And I was like, oh God, is my YouTube account getting hacked or something? But no, I looked online and saw that a lot of people reported YouTube was just down completely for like a good hour or so. Did anybody else experience that? Raul, and I see Kenny also mentioned, will they ever release the HomePad? So like the HomePod with the screen device. I think they will eventually, but I don't know when it's going to be. If I had to guess, like, I kind of hate guessing this kind of stuff, just because the whole rumor mill just kind of churns nonstop. But it's probably going to be when we get the fully revamped Siri and everything. And they've had some more delays with that, according to some of the rumors. So I think it's probably going to be a while. My hope, I will really be hoping for WWDC. If we don't hear anything by then, that's when I'll really hope and maybe expect. I try to go into like those Apple events with very little to no expectations, but I will say if we don't hear something in terms of Apple Home devices or something for Apple Home, your smart home, by WWDC this year, I will be pretty disappointed. So I'm usually pretty good about managing my expectations, but we've been waiting and hearing rumors long enough about that stuff. I think by WWDC, again, the new updated Siri, I think is when we'll probably really see those new, probably the new Apple TV, new HomePods and stuff as well when that comes out. Let's see. Wild Bill says, I just want a new Apple TV. Yeah, I think we're going to be waiting a little bit longer. I mean, I'd be pretty surprised if we saw that release or announced next week, or not next week, but in March. But I could be wrong, but I don't think so. There you go. Sigmund Judge says, not expecting Apple TV or HomePod until WWDC. September could work as there's only the Pro and Fold this year, so they need to offer something a little more budget focused for the regular customer. Okay, yeah, there you go. Good insights. Yeah. Again, I'm hoping WWDC. That's the date that I got in my mind. Yeah. Go fast, Gator. That's right. HomePod Minis, need a hardware update. They are quite old. It's hard to believe those were released in, what was it? It was 2020, wasn't it, when the HomePod Mini was originally released? I mean, that's a long time for tech without an update. Yeah, that would be awesome to hear one more thing in September. Maybe. Hopefully sooner. Ben, yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to, the software too. So my biggest excitement, we talked about it a little bit last week with these new smart home devices from Apple, whether it's the HomePod. Mainly I'm thinking about when they release the device with the HomePod with the screen, HomePad. Should we just call it HomePad? I don't know. Maybe we'll just call it the HomePad. But when they release that, my thinking is they're going to have to release this like Home OS or some new version, some new software specifically for the smart home. And I'm excited about that because I think that'll really open up a lot of automation capabilities, because with the AI, Apple Intelligence, and the ability to run apps on this new software should allow, and the app intents that we'll get with Apple Intelligence should allow us, I think, to be able to run a lot more advanced and just more exciting home automations, because those automations should be able to run on your home hub, because those apps should be able to be installed and run on that home hub is kind of my thinking. So I'm pretty excited about that too. I think when it comes, it's going to be a pretty big deal. I hope. Do you think Apple will make an Apple TV under $100? I don't know. I mean, maybe. I know that at one point there were rumors that Apple was going to make like an Apple TV stick or like a dongle or something like that. That could be cheaper, but honestly, I'd be pretty surprised to see that. I don't really see the point of a device like that, I don't think. The Apple TV as an app already comes like pre-installed on pretty much every smart TV, Roku's and stuff like that anyways. So I'd be pretty surprised to see an Apple TV under $100. Maybe though. Yeah, wow, Bill. Would love to see a HomeKit upgrade with the latest Matter standard. Yeah, I know. SmartThings is pretty good about that. It'd be nice for all the ecosystems. I'd like to see them all kind of get to where they can at least be maybe on the latest one, or maybe just behind, and updating, in the process of updating to the newest one all the time. That would be really nice. Like, we got Matter support for cameras now, but who knows when that will work in Apple Home. I know SmartThings is like the first one to support Matter cameras. Let me see. I think I got a couple questions here saved, and I'll say too, if you guys have questions, we'll go ahead and just do. We've kind of been doing it anyways. We'll do Q&A, and just in your comment, preface your comment with the word question, and that'll just stick out to me a little bit more, and I'll try to save all the questions and address as many as I can today. Pablo asked, what brand do you trust the most for Zigbee 2 MQTT? So for Zigbee devices, I use a lot of Aqara stuff. I don't use Home Assistant a ton, honestly. So like Zigbee 2MTT, QTT, you know what I'm trying to say. Alphabet salad there. So I don't use that a ton, but what I like is, I do use a lot of Aqara devices, but I typically use an Aqara hub for those. I have been using more Third Reality devices. Those have been really good. The Third Reality Zigbee devices, I like those a lot. They're really affordable. So I don't know, anybody else have any suggestions, or what brand of Zigbee devices you like the best? Drop them in the chat below. I know, like I said, Third Reality has been pretty awesome lately. I've been kind of adding more and more of those devices here recently. Let's see. Oh, Moss Jason says, I really want a new airport time capsule of some sort. That would be nice. Terry, what's up, Terry? Terry White in the house. Third Reality for the win. Terry likes Third Reality also. Oh, is it? SRL, thank you, says the Aqara FP300 is back in stock on Amazon US. That must have just happened, because I checked earlier today and I didn't see it available, but I know it did pop back up, I think, on Amazon UK recently. So let's see. Oh, there it is. All right, everybody go out and buy one. Aqara FP300 back on Amazon. I have been asked about that probably every week since they sold out, basically. It's been out of stock for a while, so if you guys don't buy them all before the end of the stream, I will probably buy myself one or two more. Awesome, thanks for sharing. Yeah, that must have just happened, because like I said, earlier today, I don't think they were available. So that's nice. Yeah, I think Kenny says seems to be plenty of stock on the FP300 in UK. I think they probably got it squared away before they, this new release here, because they saw how popular it was. I think they kind of underestimated just how popular it was going to be. So hopefully now with this this new batch here, they have plenty. Raul, I do not have any codes right now. I'll have to check my email, and they probably haven't sent me an email today. They're on a different time zone, but I will reach back out and ask them for a discount code, because I know they did tell me, speaking of Aqara, that is, they did say that they would give me an updated discount code, a new discount code, once they're back in stock. So I'll reach out and see if I can get one, and I will definitely share that I'll share it over on Instagram first as soon as I get it. And then I'll also share it here in the live stream, next week or whatever. Wherever I can, I'll share it. But I'll definitely share it over on Instagram as soon as I can. If they said they'd give me a new one, so I keep checking back to see if it's in stock, and it hasn't been. But I don't have a code as of right now. But I will try. All right, couple of questions here. Let's see. William asks, looks like Apple Home once again is not getting any type of love this year again. What are your thoughts? I did a whole video about this. I don't know if you saw that video from a couple weeks ago. It kind of covers my whole thought process on all this. I do think this year we're going to see some Apple Home updates. I also thought that last year, so take that for what it's worth. I think a lot of the home stuff has been delayed because, Siri has been delayed, and that's a big part of it. So I'm okay with that as long as, they do it right and they do it well once it comes out. I do think that's going to be the case, and I have high hopes and high expectations for that. But I do think this year is going to be a big year for Apple Home. But again, I said that last year. So, I keep saying that, but I don't think they can delay it much longer. Again, we're supposed to see the big Siri update this year, so hopefully that means new smart home products and updates from Apple. Australia is in the house. What's up, Rain Simpson? Got a couple of questions. Let me save these here. Yes, thank you. Please preface your comment. I'm going to try to get to all the questions during the stream. And if you're a channel member and I'm not able to get your question, or maybe you just got gifted a membership, hop over to our Discord server later and you can ask me. You could tag me over there. You could DM me, all that good stuff over in Discord. So I definitely always reply on Discord. And because sometimes I can't get to all the questions here, but we'll try to. I am Richard says, have you gotten your hands on the Aqara thermostat hub W200? I'm very intrigued how the adaptive temperature controls work. Yeah, I am very intrigued about adaptive temperature as well. It's one of those things that it's coming out soon. I can't really talk much about it. Just going to see if we can find any information on adaptive temperature. Basically, from what we know, it adjusts. So it'll automatically adjust the climate based on location, occupancy, and at times activity states to improve energy efficiency. Let's see. It utilizes iPhone location data to adjust temperature when you leave the house. I heard too that it even can utilize calendar and stuff like that through Apple. So I'm intrigued as well. Stay tuned. That should be coming out pretty soon. Oh, thanks, Raul. Says, loved your IKEA run video. I may have to do a run myself. Nice. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was good to hear feedback from that one too, because I did that video a little bit differently, trying some new things. We kind of did sort of a vlog style in a way. We went out to IKEA, my wife and I, and found all the stuff. So it was kind of fun to go in store somewhere instead of just ordering stuff online. So that was kind of nice. And I just kept a lot of stuff in there. I usually try to keep my videos fairly short, but I said, you know what, let's just try something. And I just left it all in there, including... I left most of it in there, including all of the troubleshooting and a lot of issues that I had during the setup and stuff. So I appreciate the feedback. All right, let's see. Sigmund says, I'm about to upgrade to a UniFi network. Have you gone down the UniFi Protect route? And if so, have you integrated into Apple Home? Will recordings work simultaneously in both systems? Yeah, I have. So let me just reread this question to make sure I answer it properly. So yeah, I have switched over pretty much all of my cameras, most of my cameras now, not all of them, but most of my cameras I switched over to UniFi now. I am using, I can't remember, honestly. I have to check to see how I integrated them, either Home Assistant or Homey Pro. Might be Home Assistant. I don't really remember, honestly. But I'm using one of those two to get my UniFi cameras into HomeKit. I was using scripted for a while, so you can also use scripted, and you can do HomeKit secure video through scripted. And yes, you can record simultaneously, so like Apple HomeKit secure video, as well as your local recording and everything through UniFi. You can record in both places if you're using something like that. Through Home Assistant, I'm not sure if there's a way to do HomeKit secure video with Home Assistant. I'm actually trying to move away from scripted. This is the first time I've actually been willing to use another app for my cameras, for my recordings. I still use, so basically I'm using HomeKit just for live feeds sometimes. If I'm in the moment, just want to check on something, I'll use HomeKit. It's got all access to all my my other smart home devices in there. But when I need to check recordings and stuff, I just go and use the Protect app. So that's kind of how I'm doing it. Let me know. I know that we got a lot of UniFi people in here. Is anybody else utilizing HomeKit Secure Video with UniFi Protect? Like I said, I know it can be done with scripted. I'm not sure if there's any other ways to do it. Oh yes, thanks, Frederick. Frederick says, okay, so yeah, referring to other cameras. So yeah, you can use OnVIF supported third-party cameras and Protect. I've actually had trouble getting that to work with some of my Aqara cameras. It's kind of been a process. I've been still trying to get that figured out. But yes, you can. It's kind of limited compared to what you can do with the UniFi cameras, but you can get third-party cameras into UniFi Protect if they support OnVIF. Oh, nice. Tim says, I'm going to be trying Homey Pro Protect cameras into Matter on SmartThings to see if that works. Nice. Yeah, I'm really excited to try out Matter with cameras. That's going to be really exciting. Of course, Apple, it'll probably be 2027 before Apple supports Matter cameras, but, maybe I'm wrong. Oh, Raul. Out of the motion and door sensors. Yeah, it's crazy. I've seen a lot of people have said the IKEAs have been out of a lot of the devices. I actually have, speaking of IKEA and UniFi, we have UniFi. I'm sorry. This is the IKEA sensor. We got a $10 door sensor, and then we got a $50 door sensor. You got both ends of the spectrum here, IKEA and then UniFi. So I got some of the UniFi SuperLink sensors and stuff. I've been trying out those also, seeing what all I can do with those. Big price range there for sure. Oh, nice. George, looking at putting alibi cameras into UniFi Protect. Let me know how that goes, George. I'd be curious if you're able to successfully get that, make that happen. Like I said, I've had some trouble getting my OnVIF cameras into, or at least the Aqara one for some reason, because I'm still using a few Aqara cameras. I really like that G5 Pro camera. And I want to also try out they've got a new doorbell and the new, what is it, the G350, I think maybe it's coming out pretty soon. I think that's the name of the new one. So I'd like to be able to get those into Protect also. All right, sorry, I'm just catching up on the chat here. Ty Boyle says, you had so many issues setting up devices. Totally felt that pain you were going through. Yeah, man. Well, I hate you experienced that too, but it's good to know I'm not the only one. And maybe it's good for you to know that you're not the only one also. Yeah, Thread has been really like hit or miss when it comes to both the onboarding and the reliability. Some devices I really love Thread for. Like I love Thread for my smart locks. And sensors, it's okay, but it's kind of just hit or miss. It's hard to move away. It's hard for me to move away from Zigbee for just all the sensors throughout the house because they're just so rock solid for me. But, my Thread network probably needs a little love. G350, thank you, Palma Kit. Oh, nice, Terry. Okay, got the Real-Link floodlight cam into Protect via OnBIF. Yeah, I don't know why I'm having trouble. I'm gonna have to try that again. Maybe I'll reach out to you on Discord and see if I can get that figured out. Okay, maybe the VLAN. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to look into it and see. There's got to be something causing it. I was able to get some of my Real-Link cameras in there in Protect, like when UniFi first came out with that feature, that ability. But since then, I haven't been able to get my Aqara stuff in there. Monica says, I have a standalone garage about 50 to 80 yards from the main house where my Apple TV is. The access point is wired and I'm hoping to add light switches and lock. What would you recommend? So for the garage, 52, that's probably going to be kind of tough. That's a pretty long ways away. Without getting some sort of access point over there. You said light switches and lock. I don't know. That's pretty far. Honestly. First thing that comes to mind really is something like Z-Wave long range, maybe. You might be able to do something like that if you're running, like you probably need to be running a Home Assistant though. I don't know if you've gone down that rabbit hole yet, but yeah, I mean, 80 yards it's pretty long ways. I don't know if you'll be able to, you may have to get some sort of outdoor, maybe even like an outdoor router or just a wireless access point even. Or it might be worth running an Ethernet. I mean, if it was me, if you could muster up the budget for it, get somebody to just install an Ethernet run out there to the garage and then just put another access point out there. I mean, that would probably just save you a lot of trouble. I don't know. Does anybody else have a setup similar to that might be able to suggest something? Yeah, Go Fast Gator says a Thread border router in the garage would extend your Thread mesh to the garage. Pop another Apple TV with Ethernet in the garage. Yeah, but I assume there's no Ethernet in the garage. If otherwise, you could just put another access point out there probably. So I'm assuming there's no Ethernet out there. But you could look at stuff like, I've even seen like some outdoor Zigbee extenders that could extend your Zigbee range, but I have not used anything like that, so I'm not sure how well that works. I've heard really good things about the Z-Wave long range stuff, but I haven't used it either. Let's see what you guys say. Oh, there is a wired access point in the garage. Okay. Sorry. Well, hey, if you got a wired access point in the garage, you're good to go. So at that point, you shouldn't have any Wi-Fi issues. So Then it's just that question was light switches and lock. What would you recommend? I thought it was more of a question about range. So if you're just asking, you know, what light switches and lock would I recommend? My favorite lock right now, hands down, is the Aqara U400. The thing is incredible. I absolutely love it. Light switches, again, I always go back to Lutron. They are super reliable. You'll probably need a Lutron bridge in the garage, probably, if you did Lutron. You could go Wi-Fi, but I'm just not a huge fan of using Wi-Fi light switches. There are some thread light switches too now, though, so that might be the way to go if you don't want to add a Lutron bridge out there. Let's see, the Aqara, you could use the Aqara switches that will support thread. Also, Inovelli has some that are pretty good. They have the matter over thread switches. Yeah, those would probably be my recommendations there for light switches and locks in that situation. Ricardo, excuse me, says Aqara all the way. George says Aqara U400 for the win, no question. Yeah, I know, man. I've been I've been getting, you know, emails as we do. The other content creators on here probably can relate, but I've been getting emails and stuff as we usually do about smart locks and stuff, and it's just hard for me to get excited about any smart lock anymore that doesn't have ultra wideband. It's just been so awesome. I just have a hard time really wanting to try anything else, you know, unless it has ultra wideband. I don't know. That might be just me, but it's really been a game changer for smart locks. Yeah, Rain Simpson says just upgraded the Aqara H2 light switches connected to my M3 hub via Zigbee. They've been awesome. Yeah, so I agree there too. And like back to Monica's question about light switches, I mentioned Aqara. The Aqara H2 switches, what's really great about those is they support Zigbee and Thread. So you have the option. You can use, if you have an Aqara hub, you can use them over Zigbee. Or if you don't, like out in your garage, you don't have an Aqara hub, you can use them over Thread. I prefer to use all mine over Zigbee as well, like Rain said here. The Aqara Zigbee stuff has just been so solid, and I actually have multiple Aqara hubs, but I use the M3 also as my primary hub. So, you know, out in the garage for Monica, you could maybe even put an Aqara hub out there, and then you can just get different Aqara Zigbee devices, light switches, sensors, even some of the smart lights or whatever. And you could put those out in your garage and just connect those to that Aqara hub. And another thing that's nice is you can use the M3, which is my favorite Zigbee hub from Aqara, but you could also use like one of their cameras, that new camera that's coming out soon, that can be Zigbee hub or Thread hub. They've got a number of hubs that you can use. Some of them are really affordable, so you could put a camera out there, let that act as your hub also. So yeah, that's probably a good option also. Frederick says, I'm seriously looking at the Aqara U400 for my main entrance at my house. Got to convince the wife on it. Hey man, I support you. I'm with you. If it's any consolation, the wife here at my house absolutely loves it. I don't know if you saw, I'm sure you saw the video, but go back, you can rewatch it, show her that part. I don't think I put Caroline in the video for the U400, but I mentioned it in there. That's the first lock that she came home after I changed it out. I didn't tell her anything but about it, and she came home and she was like really excited about it, which is pretty rare for her, especially when I change a smart lock. But she walked in and she was just like, oh, that's nice, because it just unlocked automatically. So she's a big fan of it. So maybe your wife would be a big fan of it as well. Maybe that helps. Do you think Apple could ever allow Apple Home to run directly on third-party hubs like Aqara instead of requiring a HomePod or Apple TV as a separate home hub? No, I would be absolutely shocked if they ever let that happen. I don't. Apple needs to maintain some level of control, so I don't think they would ever let anything like that take place. All right, what other questions do we have? Does anyone use Shelly 1 Gen 3 Wi-Fi smart relay switches? Are they any good? I've heard good things about Shelly. I haven't really used a lot of their devices, but I've always heard really good things about them. They were more prominent, I know, in Europe, I think, and they're making their way a lot more so in the US now, but and their Gen 4 stuff supports Matter, but I haven't really used them myself, but I've always heard good things, so I don't know if anybody else has any experience with those. William asks, do you know when the I'm assuming Narwhal Flow 3 comes out? My wife finally wants to get a smart vacuum and mop for the house. Nice. Well, congratulations, William. That's awesome. It's a game changer, man. If you've never had a smart vacuum and mop, you may have heard, me and Caroline talking before. That is one of her favorite things in the house. It's just a robot vacuum, period, but one that mops, and she has always really liked the Narwhal stuff. To answer your question, I think the Flow comes out, the new Flow, I think it's the 2. I think it's this Flow 2. I think that comes out in April, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure it's April. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's April, if I recall correctly. So I know we got to see it at CES. I might have mentioned in my CES video when they plan to release it, but if my memory serves me correctly, it's going to be April. And I think Narwhal usually releases new ones in April, looking back at years past. So yeah, that's what I would expect. It should be this spring though. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one too because I really like the Narwhal stuff and really been happy with the Narwhal Flow, and I'm sure we'll probably try out that new one also. Just Frozen 77 says, I waited till late last year after 5 years at my house to finally get a robot vacuum, and because I have a dog, it's a godsend. I'm just careful when to run it. Absolutely. If you have animals, especially dogs, well, probably cats too, but I have dogs, and I even have short-haired dogs. I've got 2 of them, but they don't have long hair, but even just that short hair, it's amazing how much hair it picks up, and it's just great if you have allergies and stuff, because most of us, we're busy, we're all working and stuff like that, so it's hard to sweep and vacuum and stuff like that every day. And we've gotten to where we run our robot vacuum every day now, and it just keeps that little thin layer of dog hair. It just keeps it cleaned up every day, and it's a game changer, man. Absolutely. If you have not invested in one of those, I would say now is the time. They always run good deals at Black Friday. They also will probably, I think there's going to be a spring sale event this year again on Amazon. They've done spring sale events, then of course like Prime Day and stuff. There's usually really good deals on a lot of robot vacuums. So if you are in the market for one and you haven't gotten one yet, you might want to wait just a little while. I think that spring sale event's coming up. And I might do like I've done in the past and just try to gather all the like good smart home deals together and consolidate that like on my website. I've done that in years past. So I might do that for that spring sale event. But it's so worth it for sure. And another thing too is like robot vacuums have gotten so good. So if you've waited 5 years without getting one, or maybe you had an experience with robot vacuums like 5, 6, 7 years ago or whatever, and just didn't have a good experience, I would say give it another try because they have gotten so much better. just really, and I've seen significant improvements just in like the last like 2 to 3 years. They've just gotten really good, especially the last 2 years. They're so good now. So oh, nice. Run the narwhal Mondays, mop, and vacuum on Thursdays. Just vacuum. But mop and vacuum the kitchen floor. Yeah, that's what's cool is you can set those schedules and kind of have it do different things. Let it mop, let it vacuum, or do both. That's awesome. I have 2 short-haired dogs, Cody says, and I swear I pull a whole dog's worth of hair in dust bags out of the chassis of the robot every other week. Oh, the SwitchBot K10 Plus Pro. Yeah, it's like with those short-haired dogs, it's kind of crazy because it's not as obvious, at least with me. And my dogs have like a gray color, so it's a, I don't know. You don't really see it on the floor necessarily until you like sweep or something or run a vacuum, and then you're like, oh my gosh, it's there the whole time, and you just didn't even know it. We're breathing it in and stuff. A lot of love for Lutron here in the chat. Yeah, I'm still using Lutron in a lot of places. Hair Riot says, I bought 2 narwhals and the obstacle avoidance is insanely good. Yeah, man, I agree with that. That's one of those things that the improvements that I'm referring to over the last just couple years. In robot vacuums in general, I think all of them have gotten better, especially those flagship ones. If you get, like the more expensive, the flagship ones, the obstacle avoidance has gotten so much better. And that, that for me, that was a big game changer because again, you got 2 working adults and kids and dogs, and there's just, it doesn't matter how hard you try, at least in my house, like there's always going to be stuff on the floor or whatever in different places. And, the vacuums would always get stuck on things, just whatever, kids' toys or dog toys or whatever, shoelaces, for years. And it wasn't until the past like maybe 2 years that I noticed the obstacle avoidance getting just becoming so good that they can run all the time and I don't have to pick up everything before I run one. I don't know about you, but like it used to be every time I ran the robot vacuum, I couldn't just set a schedule because it would get stuck on things. So I'd have to go around the house, pick up, make sure there was nothing in the floor, and then run it manually in order to have a successful cleaning. But I don't have to do that anymore because the obstacle avoidance, it is so good. It just avoids all the crap that doesn't get put up, which is nice. Let's see, do we have any more questions I may have missed? What watch face am I using? Oh, my watch is dead. My watch has been, I got a low battery right now. I don't know what watch face that's called. I don't know what it's called. California. That one right there, I guess. I change it from time to time. My Apple Watch has been, this is the Ultra 2. It's been dying lately. It's always been insanely good on battery life, but lately it's been dying a lot faster. So I'm going to have to see if I can optimize that a little bit, or maybe it's time for an update. It's been a while. I'm running Rear-Link cameras with scripted into HomeKit. Any suggestion on getting the lag down on the camera loading when I'm not on the same Wi-Fi? I ran Rear-Link cameras for a long time through scripted, and I found the load time was insanely good on those. It may have something to do with your obviously, like if you have a bad cell signal, that's probably going to be play a factor. There's not much you can do about that, I don't think. Another thing to look at is, I don't know what you're running scripted on, but that maybe would play a factor into it. I always ran scripted on my Synology, so that always worked really well for me. But yeah, it could just be if your cell signal is not very good. But you said on the same Wi-Fi, so if you're on another Wi-Fi, you have a good connection, it should work well. So I don't know, maybe could have to do with the computer or whatever device you're running scripted on, possibly. Received an email back from Navimo regarding Home Assistant integration and asked Yarbo in their live chat, and Home Assistant and Apple Home are on their radar for future integrations. Well, that's good to hear. That's really good to hear. I've been using the Navimo robot mower for a while. I'm looking at switching and trying a new one this year. So I used the Navimo all last year. Really loved it. I'm probably going to try a different one this year. I really want to get one without a RTK station. Again, those two dogs that I have are just they're destructive. You know, I got one that just runs all around the yard, and sometimes he runs into the RTK station, and he likes to chew things, so I have to keep an eye on him. But I'd really like to have one without an RTK station, so I think that's going to be probably my next attempt at a robot mower. But really happy with the Navimo. The thing about it, when you ask these companies if they plan to do this or plan to do that, a lot of times, sometimes I guess they will say we don't have any plans, but a lot of times they just say, oh yeah, we're working on it. And so I usually take that with a grain of salt. Although, I mean, it is good to hear, but I kind of take that with a grain of salt. But we'd love to see a Home Assistant integration, especially. I don't think you'll get Apple Home native integration on anything like that. I don't think Apple Home can support robot mowers. But Home Assistant would be awesome. Georgian Karen says, it seems that Aqara might be your favorite smart home brand. Just curious, are you aware that Aqara actually releases many more, often more interesting products for the Chinese market? Yeah, I've seen they do. They have all kinds of stuff. I mean, you think they release a lot of stuff here, which they do in the US. They release even more in the Chinese market. I have seen that, a lot of cool stuff. Sometimes we'll see them they'll start in the Chinese market and then maybe bring stuff internationally after that. We've seen that sometimes. In fact, now we've got the FP300. Before that, the FP2, and then I think the FP2 was the first presence sensor that they released in the US. I think that was the first one they released in the US. And they had I forget what they called it, but they had one, their first presence sensor was not available in the US, and I actually had one shipped over, and I think it received so much positive interest, even internationally. I know a lot of people did that, and they ordered one of those and got it sent over, that they ended up coming out with the presence sensors in the US. I think probably because of that. Lots of issues with Yarbo. And M. Fireman said, I haven't used the Yarbo one myself. I know a few people who have. The FP1? Okay. Yeah, that sounds right. Thanks, Brian. FP1 was their first presence sensor. I have one of them. It's in my closet. It was that. Then that was released. Yeah, so the FP1E. Yeah, I remember the FP1E. I'm still using one of those too. Yeah, I think that one was after the FP2. That's right. So the FP1 was probably just the one in China, the Chinese market, and then they came out with FP2 in the US or internationally, and then the FP1E. I think that's right. Nice. The question is, can you use some of the Chinese Aqara devices in North America? You can, but there are some nuances there. Like, I typically don't do that. I did with the FP1, that original presence sensor we were talking about, and I've done it in the past. I've been using Aqara stuff since before they even sold anything in the US market, actually. I remember buying that stuff years ago and having to get it shipped over before. And I remember when they came into the US and started selling stuff. This is before they knew who I was. I was buying their stuff for years, and I just always really liked them. But nowadays, I typically try to avoid using the stuff that's not sold internationally, just because it used to be, anyways. You'd have to like pick which server you want to use, like the US or a different server, and it could probably cause some issues. And there's just no guarantees. Obviously, I don't think you'd get much customer support there if you try to do that. So I don't know if anybody else is doing that. Let me know if that's changed any, but to keep it simple, I just typically buy stuff that is sold in my region that can work on the US server, so I don't have to worry about that. These days, I should say. I'd be curious if their smart display works in the US. Yeah, I'm not sure I don't know anybody that has got that. They sold it it's sold in Europe. That is it the S1 smart panel? I'm not sure if that's right. I think it's the S1. That nice little smart panel that they sell. They never released it in the US. I'm not sure if or when they will. But yeah, I'm not sure if anybody, I don't know anybody that's using that in the US. Let's see. Trying to see if I missed any questions. I may have missed some questions. Yeah, I think that is the issue. Brian says there, regarding those display panels, they're connected to wall switches, so there most certainly is some I don't want to say issues, but some differences there, and that's probably why they haven't been able to release in the US. I don't know what the issue is or the holdup, because they were planning to release it in the US, and for some reason, at some point, I don't know what happened and why they didn't. But okay. Oh, nice, Jeff. Jeff came through in the chat, says he's using the S1 hub panel, but it has to be connected to their Chinese server. Okay, so that's still the case, it sounds like. If you're using something that's sold in just the Chinese market, you're going to have to connect it to the Chinese server, which, again, that was kind of always the case from my experience in the past, too. So thanks, Jeff, for confirming that. How do you have it wired up? Did you have to wire it up somehow separately? I can't remember how you did that. I assume you can't just wire it up to like a regular light switch in the US. Do you know when the Aqara outlet with the additional USB-C will be released? I don't know that smart plug, so that was one of the devices. I went through their whole lineup that they had displayed at CES, and I asked them, like, when is this coming out? When is this, estimated release dates for all these devices? And that one, they told me that one was a prototype. That's what they told me. So that means they don't have any planned release date at this point. I did tell the rep there that I was talking to, I told her, like, finally, we need this. Even if it didn't have the USB-C port on there, we need a new Aqara smart plug. Just a small, normal-sized smart plug instead of that big old one. I love the Aqara smart plugs because they're super reliable. They're they're Zigbee repeaters. They're fantastic, but they're just so big. And they're old at this point. I was like, we need an updated, refreshed smart plug from Aqara. So I gave them my feedback in terms of that, but she did tell me that it was just a prototype and there was no planned release date for that. So I don't see why they wouldn't release that one, but hopefully we'll hear more maybe later this year. Okay, the Aqara S1 panel can be powered by USB-C without the wired switch part. Okay. So I guess if you wanted to use it just as like a Matter controller or whatever. Thanks. Thank you, Pamakit, and also Jeff, running it over USB-C. So not as a light switch. So you could just use it as like a little display and not control your lights physically. All right, cool. All right, guys. Well, went over a little bit, but we had some issues in the beginning with the stream. Thank you guys all for jumping over to the new stream who did come from the previous one. Sorry about those technical difficulties, but now we know. I was trying to do too much there with some new integrations and stuff into the live stream, but glad we got to get on here and get it straightened out and chat for a bit. If I did miss your question and you are a channel member, like I said earlier, you can message me, tag me over in our Discord server, or if maybe you just got a membership today or were gifted one, join us over on our Discord server. We can continue the conversations over there. You can tag me, ask questions, or share your feedback and experience with others as we're all on this smart home journey together and having fun most of the time. Most of the time when everything connects right. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you guys next time. God bless.